Ever wondered how to make your marriage stronger and happier? We'll show you simple, practical steps that you can take to make your relationship with your spouse stronger than ever. In these daily habits, you'll know what you can do now to create a strong, lasting relationship.
So we are Chris and Shelby from Crown Intent, and we have been living and loving intentionally for 19 years. You don't want to miss these 5 intentional habits that can really make a difference in your marriage.
So the things we're going to talk about today, the habits that we're going to talk about, I feel like when I first heard of them, when we first talked about them, they seemed a little random, because they just don't tie right into marriage.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. There were some that were just kind of like, well, how does that even?
Yeah.
But because we've been consistent with these disciplines, we've noticed some changes, and there's some science behind all of this. And we're not going to get deep into that, but
a little bit.
But maybe a little bit.
But I think before we start, the thing about most marriage advice would be schedule a date night, or make sure that you have time where you're just connecting with your spouse.
Family time, or
yeah. And these are going to be different.
There are not going to be those.
Yes.
Because those are very important.
Very important.
But these are very practical steps that will really help with other things. And so you can build upon them.
Yeah. Okay. So our first tip for how to build a healthy marriage is
drinking water.
So drinking, not just a little water,
no,
but like 8 to 12 cups of water, being fully hydrated.
Yeah.
So tell us, how in the world does drinking water help with our relationship?
So there has been science behind this.
Yeah.
But really what it is actually allowing your body and your brain specifically to have elasticity in it. And when you're hydrated, your body will work correctly. We were designed to have hydration. And so, again, it really goes into the brain part of that. And there are some...
renewing your mind.
Yes.
Like that, it helps with renewing your mind.
It really helps to create new neural pathways in the brain.
Which is amazing.
It is really amazing.
To me, when you think about
how we were created.
Yeah, we were created that way. And then on top of that, we are supposed to be renewing our mind. Yeah. So God knew what he was doing.
Oh, really? You did? Hey, speaking of, where's my water?
Yes.
So
number two, number two.
Which is it's also piggybacking off of this one here with drinking water.
It is work out for 5 minutes every day.
Can you do something that would be considered workout? I mean, even a walk.
Yeah.
For 5 minutes a day?
Completely doable.
Okay. So what have you found since we started practicing these? What have you found on 5 minutes a day of just doing something that's what we call exercise or working out or something on those lines?
So for me, it's been so helpful because I like to work out. I've always enjoyed that. But with family and being busy, that's been so much harder.
Yeah.
And so when we break it down to 5 minutes a day, I feel like that's so doable. So there are times where it's like, I don't have a lot of time, or I'm just not feeling it. And so
it's 5 minutes.
I can do 5 minutes.
Yeah. Early on, I remember one time coming home late from work, we ate dinner, and I was like, I haven't really done even just the 5 minutes. I move around a lot, but I didn't specifically take that time out. And Shelby said, why don't we just go walk to the end of the road?
Yeah.
And so we did a walk there and back, and we actually made it 2 times the distance, just because we kind of push ourselves. But really what I was getting at was, you do 5 minutes, and then it turns into maybe 10 minutes. And then you start really cutting down time out of your day to spend some activity. And I believe we should be healthy. I believe we should be active. I believe we should be, and that helps with you and I both.
Right.
First off, I got to keep this so she's attracted to me. And like the other way around. So
yeah. So 5 minutes is so doable.
So easy.
So that's habit number 2. That we are talking about. Habit number 3 is
speaking words of life over your family, over your marriage. Speaking words of life,
which we've talked about before.
We've discussed that already, but
so important.
It is absolutely important, and just kind of speaking to who they are, what they've been made, or how they've been made, what they're going to do. Just speaking words of life around your spouse and your family.
Yeah. So one way that we've talked about is like the words that we say to one another. But I think another way that we didn't mention in our last video was like find a scripture that applies to maybe marriage or to your children. And speak that over them. And it may just be in your own personal prayer time, but you're saying out loud these promises over your children, over your relationship. And there's just so much power in not only saying it, but in you hearing yourself say that. It puts it in your heart. One
of the things, and it just makes me think about in the Old Testament, and it's probably continued on, but I thought immediately of Jacob blessing his grandchildren.
Yeah.
And so just speak blessing over your children, speak blessing over your spouse, your marriage, and then continue that. I mean, and if you have children that have children, so you have grandchildren, speak blessing over your grandchildren. And it really is powerful, the things that you can speak over them, because it also goes into their own mind.
Right.
And it encourages them. It gives them just an excitement. And so it just brings life. And so again, it's
so speaking words of life daily. So huge.
Yeah.
So the 4th habit that we are going to talk about that helps build strong marriages is gratitude.
Oh, man.
So practicing being grateful for things. So I know one of the things we try to do each day is just talk about the things that we are grateful for and write those out. So, I might just do 3 things that I'm grateful for that specific day.
Writing them out is key. I have said before on past videos that I've never really been a journaler or someone that writes things out. But since the practice of these, it has been phenomenal. I can go back now and even look at some things that I'm like, I thank the Lord for these things.
Yeah.
And it's like some of it, I'm like, oh, wow. And it's expanded even more so beyond what I could even ask or imagine, as it says in Scripture.
Yeah.
And so just, again, writing things out and having gratitude over everything that God gives us.
Right. Well, and so huge because we think in the moment we're going to remember that thing that we're grateful for. And sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
So writing out the things we're grateful for, I think is really big. And it keeps you in a state of mind where you're thinking about the things that you've been blessed with rather than things maybe that are a struggle. Because we all have those things too.
Hey, thank you for saying yes.
I said yes 19 years ago. And I just keep saying yes. I just keep saying it. So number 5.
Let's go on that.
Is
love intentionally.
Love someone intentionally.
So love someone intentionally. Yes. But love intentionally. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So like an example of this might be writing a note to your spouse and leaving it somewhere that they will find it throughout the day.
Does it have to be loving intentionally, have to be only your marriage and only your children, or that can expand into loving anyone or someone intentionally outside?
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about it in this context, but I'm just saying you can expand that further. But start with your spouse, start with your family.
Yeah, and like think about what are the things that you could do for them that would be special. Doesn't have to be expensive. It could be. But it doesn't have to be. But it could be as simple as like, I'm going to get you your favorite soda. and I'm just going to hand it to you. You didn't have to ask for it. You didn't have to, you didn't do it yourself.
No.
I just thought of you in that moment, and I brought that to you. So those are two small examples
They're really tiny examples
of what they could be.
Yep.
But usually you'll pick up on things that maybe your spouse wants. They're probably dropping hints.
Yeah, I was about to say exactly. I take the hints that are dropped,
Mm-hmm.
and you just beat me to the punch on that one. But still, I definitely am being observant.
Yeah.
And paying attention to what things that Shelby is hinting at, and so
and I don't always hint.
No, not always.
I don't always hint, but you might be able to pick up on some hints.
I've picked up on some things. So
those things are super random.
Really, they're simple things.
They're so simple.
There's a lot more, but those are just some 5 key things that are just simple that really you don't even have to take any. There's no money involved in most of those. Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: a lot of those things are helping yourself.
Yep.
So, like, think about drinking the water, or you are you're working out 5 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are working on yourself, but when you come together as two healthy people. Two people that are full of gratitude, you're going to automatically have a better starting place for marriage, which I think is where this builds on marriage. So the habits kind of seem like they don't apply to marriage.
But they do.
But they definitely do.
Here's the other thing. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be I'm going to say this, American Gladiator or anything. You just start just small, and that's why we're saying very small, 5 minutes a day, drink water, and then if you're working out even more, so drink even more water because your body's going to be sweating out that hydration. But just those things are very simple. Like I said earlier, it doesn't cost any money either.
Right.
So
those are 5 habits that help you to be a healthier person, so that when you come together, you have the ability to create that strong marriage. Yeah. So those are 5.
Mentally, physically, emotionally healthier.
So those are 5 habits that are actually part of a longer list.
Yes,
right?
I was saying earlier, there are more.
There are more. So those are 5 habits out of a list of more that we try to practice every day that will help to create a strong marriage, to create that strong relationship, because both of us are bringing our strongest and best selves to the relationship.
Yeah. And so if you are interested in diving in deeper and getting more intentional about the habits that we are discussing here and then the others in your marriage, email us. We're going to put our email link in the description below.
Right. crownedintent@gmail.com.
Pretty simple.
But we'll put it in the description so you can access it.
And so then contact us, and then we can walk through and kind of give you the list that we kind of work off of. And
we would love to support you.
We'd love to help you with that.
Right.
So
okay. Well, we will see you next week.
Have a good week.